I was in a restaurant there yesterday, and I was having a nice bit of lunch, and two women sit down at the table next to me, and for some reason we just started up in conversation, and I don't know how it got into politics, but it got into politics, and I guess they were a couple. I don't know. I guess they were a gay couple, and they started talking about gay marriage and Planned Parenthood and that, and they said, "What do you think about Planned Parenthood?" And I said, "Oh, it serves a purpose, I guess, but it shouldn't receive any federal funding." I said it should receive federal funding, and they said, "Well, what do you think about gay marriage?" And I said, "I don't think about it at all. I said, I'm not going to marry a guy, so why would I be thinking about gay marriage?" And they said, "Well, that's not really that's not really an answer." And I said, "Well, what do you want me to say?" He said, "Are you gay?" And one of them asked, one answer said yes. And I said, "Well, if you're asking a total stranger about gay marriage and what they think about it, I don't think you should be worried about their beliefs. I think you should be more concerned about your own beliefs." And they said, "Well, if Trump gets in, he'll do away with gay marriage." And I said, "Why would he do away with gay marriage?" I said, no president no president from now on in our lifetime will ever do away with gay marriage. It'd be political suicide." And I said, "What purpose would that serve President Trump?" I said, "He's the only president in U.S. history that's been for gay marriage from his first day in office." And then they said, "Well, how come you're for cutting the funding for Planned Parenthood?" And I said, "It's because of the abortions. Like they encourage young girls to get pregnant just so they can have an abortion, because they make billions off stem cell. All their research money comes from stem cell research. They make millions and millions of that, and they're encouraging young girls to get an abortion, and that's mostly their cares for abortion. Like years ago, they offer different health services, but primarily now they generally focus on abortions. And the conversation really wasn't going anywhere. And then they were asking me about this news from Ireland, so we're talking about Ireland, and I was trying. It was kind of. We were two opposites, so they weren't going to agree with anything I told them, but I think one of them kind of saw my point of view. So after about an hour, or maybe 2 hours, I said I have to go. I left my 6-year-old son is in the car, and I have to go get him. And one of them looked at me and they said, your 6-year-old son is in the car? You've been in here for 2 hours. And I said, "Yeah, what's wrong with that?" They said, "Well, that could be child abuse." And I said, "Well, why would it be child abuse? I'm not beating him. Why is it child abuse?" And then she said, "Well, I'm called if you do that to your son now, what else do you do?" She said, "I'm calling the police." And I said, "Well, that's your right. That's your right and your freedom. You can call whoever you want." But I said, "If you call, I'm going to wait around if you're going to call. So are you going to call?" She said, "Yes." So I went outside, and I'm standing by my car, and maybe after about 15 or 20 minutes, I see this state trooper pulled up, and just about as he's parking, two more pull in, and they come up and they said, we got a complaint about a 6-year-old son in a car." And I said, "Oh yeah, I didn't call you." And they said, "We also got a complaint about a guy with 2 guns." And I said, "Oh yeah." They said, "Well, did you tell a woman you had 2 guns?" And I said, "I did. I have my left gun, and then I have my right gun, and well, he said, well, we got complained. The girl said you had two guns. Well, I said, well, you better go talk to the girl then. I don't have no issue. I didn't call you. Go to the person that called you, and they said, well, can we see your son? And I said, sure, certainly. So I opened up my car, and I said, Duke, come out, and Duke come out, and he was jumping up, and there was two male officers and a female officer. He jumped up, and he was licking the female officer, and she was petting him and everything, and they laughed, and they said, I said, the two women are inside if you want to talk to them. I said, I have no issue, and I said, well, do you need anything from me? And they said, no, you can go. And so I headed off. I talked to them for a little while, and they laughed, and I told the female officer she was holding Duke, and I had a nice conversation with her, and we're talking about Ireland and politics, and I told her what I was talking about with the two women. So she laughed, and she says, well, we both wished well, and I thanked all three of them for being professional, and I don't know what happened with the two women inside, but that was that.